What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video we are going to be talking about Frenkie de Jong because there is some drama, right? There is. Now, one thing that we must know for sure at the beginning of this video is Hansi Flick is preparing for a Barcelona squad without Frenkie de Jong because everything does indicate that Frenkie is going to be out for the rest of the year. So Flick has to be ready. He needs to know who is going to be in the main CDM positions and who is going to be playing as a number 10. That's very important. That planning is very important because you want to understand who is going to be your main midfield when you do have to face those big teams like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, and some other teams in the Champions Leagues, right? And we do have a lot of games to play. I mean, like, it's going to go like this, like a lot of games, like a game every 3 days most likely. And then even with that, Barcelona also have to prepare for the players to go out there, for some players to go out there and play for the Nations League. And you just never know who might get injured during the Nations League. So Flick has to have plan A, plan B, plan C, all of that. Like that has to be ready. It has to be 100% ready. But here's the thing, because there's some things that have been going on that has flabbergasted me about Frenkie's situation. Let's talk about what Javi Miguel has to say about in this report, and this is what he said. Frenkie de Jong's right knee injury is significantly worse than Barcelona initially feared. The original expectation was approximately 4 months. The current concern is it could be beyond 4 months. It could even be 5 to 6 months, which is going to take Frenkie until the year of 2027. And we also do have surgery now being considered as a serious possibility, and the exact injury and the recovery timeline is still not officially confirmed as of right now, but everything indicates that he'll be out for the rest of the year. Barcelona's announcement reportedly delayed only because the club is searching for the appropriate specialist surgeon. So this is how the situation has been developing. Back on July 13th, we saw the first examination conducted. There was heavy swelling. They're like, oh my God, this thing is so ugly. It's so fat. It's just swollen as hell. And July 17th, 4 days later, there was a second assessment completed after the inflammation, and the inflammation did decrease just a little. But then on July 20th, Frenkie was expected to be back at Barcelona, but nothing has been reported, nothing has been planned. We all thought that we're going to get some news on July 20th just to see what are the answers. How long is he going to be out for? But there hasn't been any answers. And now we sit here today on July 22nd, knowing that Barcelona are not going to be having Frenkie for the rest of this year. So he is expected for sure to miss the preseason training camp in England, the triangular tournament in Udine. He's going to be missing the Joan Gamper Trophy. He's going to be missing the opener against Elche. He's going to be missing possibly the rest of these months for this season within this year. Now, here's the thing. This is the thing that flabbergasted me the most. Jared Romero shortly reported this, and I want you guys to hear me closely. Frenkie de Jong refused to start against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League return leg. The doctors gave the green light for his participation, but the player said, I don't want to take the risk. Flick has been very upset with Frenkie since this incident. Now, the reason why I had to bring this up, because this has just been said by Jared Romero a couple of hours ago. The reason why I have to bring this up is because if Frenkie said in this game or right before this game, while Barcelona were in their season, and he said, I don't want to take any risk because I don't want to further my injury. If he said this, why did he not say the same thing when he was in the World Cup with the Netherlands, knowing that he had an injury? To me, it makes it seem like Frenkie cares way more about the national team than the current club that he does play for. Now, here's the thing. I might sound a little selfish, but at the very least, be consistent with your answers. At the very least, keep your love for both club and country the same. Because if you really cared about FC Barcelona just as much as the Netherlands, you would have played in that second leg because we needed you in that second leg against Atletico Madrid. But you said, no, I don't want to take any risk. And I know why you were saying, I don't want to take any risk. I know why. It's because you don't want to basically hinder your chances to participate in the World Cup, which was happening at that time in about 2 or 3 months. That is why, because you care about the Netherlands so much that you were not willing to take any risk at that time. But apparently, when you were playing this match against Morocco, you wanted to take all the risk in the world. All the risk in the world. Didn't even matter. You're like, I'm going to play with a inflated right knee, a knee that has jacked up because I don't care. I want to play. And now Barcelona's paying the price. And I can understand why Flick has been very upset since Frenkie made this choice 3 months ago, when we were competing for the second leg against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Look, here's the thing. Like I've said, I don't want to sound too selfish. I understand why some players might have more love for the national team, but when you play for a team like FC Barcelona, you're playing for FC Barcelona. And Barcelona pay these players. It's not the national team. Barcelona pay all of their players. They give them a salary. They pay them. As a matter of fact, what does not help Frenkie's situation is Barcelona pay Frenkie de Jong around 18 million euros or 22 million euros gross a season. Frenkie is one of the top paid players at FC Barcelona. One of the top paid players at Barcelona. Let me repeat that. One of the top paid players at Barcelona, yet you want to be very risk tolerant with us, but you want to give it your all with the Netherlands, and they don't even pay you. They don't pay you. They don't pay you the same like FC Barcelona do. And we are the ones that pay for the doctors. We're the ones that pay for the medicine. We're the ones that pay for the physical trainers, the coaching and everything. But you want to treat us like this and put Netherlands first by a mile against FC Barcelona. And now Barcelona have to plan without Frenkie de Jong. I know where all of this is going when it comes to like the media and stuff like that. Like I know where the fan base is going to go with this information. Many will say, I don't want Frenkie de Jong at FC Barcelona anymore, that this guy is just so unprofessional. He does not care much about FC Barcelona. We pay him so much. There's going to be a lot of hate against Frenkie de Jong for sure for the next, I would just say 4 to 5 months. I would even say that I do think there's a possibility that by the time Frenkie comes back and he plays for FC Barcelona, whether it's in January, February, or March, I think that by that time Barcelona will move on. For sure, because of the talent that we do have today. We have great talent in the CDM positions. We have Xavi, we have Pedri, we have Marc Bernal, and we have other players that we're trying to nurture, which we are going to be talking about in just a few seconds. But I really do think that Barcelona will move on by that time, and I don't think that Frenkie de Jong will play like a protagonist in those last 3 to 4 months of the season. I think that a lot of things are going to be set for FC Barcelona and for Flick and for our CDM positions, and I think that thinking about Frenkie, even for us Barcelona fans, we're going to be thinking like, oh yeah, and we have Frenkie de Jong. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, Frenkie's back and we're back. It's not going to be like that. We're just going to have that. He's going to be a second thought in our heads because he has been so unavailable in general for Barcelona. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, like what else? Like, of course, this is expected. Frenkie de Jong historically at Barcelona has been getting injured so many times. I'm like, how did you even get to this level of getting paid 18 to 19 million euros gross a season? I just don't understand. Last season, he went through 4 different injuries. One of them was a fever, and he was out for 6 days, so it's not that serious. But he went through 3 different injuries outside of the fever, with a muscle injury, took him out for 13 days, another hamstring injury, which took him out for 45 days. He missed 11 matches total for both club and country, and then he missed another 2 matches for FC Barcelona, and he was out for 8 days for an unknown injury. Like in the picture that I'm going to be showing you guys, like you look at this, like this is just insane. And now Frenkie, this is not even including the 4 to 5 months where he's going to be off. And so it's so alarming. I don't know what's going on. I mean, Frenkie at the age of 29 years old should be able to have total mastery over his body. He's not young anymore. He understands his body, but he's doing decisions like this, like forcing yourself to play in a match against Morocco, and you got knocked out. You were not thinking about FC Barcelona at that time. You weren't. You had no interest thinking about Barcelona. You should look at your knee and be like, okay, if I force this, I'm probably going to injure myself even more. Maybe I should apply the exact same gameplay like I did 4 months ago when Barcelona were in the second leg against Atletico Madrid. So Barcelona in general are furious with the Netherlands. They're just mad because they're like, Koeman, bro, like you were our coach and you were out here trying to force players to play in a certain game in the World Cup. We understand that's very important, but like you should not force players to play in a game when they're injured. So they're angry. And now we do have some choices, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on who do you believe will be the best choice to be I would just say the replacement for Frenkie de Jong. Because here's the thing. These players that I'm about to name are not going to be a direct replacement to Frenkie de Jong. Right? Frenkie de Jong, when he is in his prime, he's really good. He provides traits that none of our other players that we have available can bring up onto the field, but these are going to be some decent replacements, and they'll be special in their own way. For example, Marc Bernal. That is going to be my first choice. For sure, Marc Bernal is my number 1 candidate to replace Frenkie de Jong and to be starting and playing 90% of the time next to Pedri. Even when Frenkie returns, I expect Marc Bernal to be at such high momentum that it's going to be so difficult for Frenkie to get into the starting 11. He is my leading replacement. great physical presence, very good in terms of like the press resistance. He can pass the ball, he can score goals, right? He's our Rodri. He can score goals, like how he did against Atletico Madrid, scoring 2 goals. And then we have Xavi Espart, a very versatile option. Xavi Espart has been used as a right back primarily, but he can also play as a defensive midfielder. I don't necessarily believe that Xavi Espart can be the direct replacement to Frenkie de Jong, like in terms of like starting tomorrow or like playing 90% of the time, but he could be an option. And then we do have Tommy Marqués, a player that is much more of a natural pivot alternative. He can for sure play as a lone 6, just like how Marc Bernal can. And he's just as tall as Marc Bernal, which is very interesting because if Tommy Marqués ends up becoming a very important player for us in the future, like in 2 or 3 seasons from today, we're talking about having 2 CDMs that are taller than 6 feet. That's amazing. I love that. I love to hear that. But he has strong positional awareness, right? Very composed when receiving from the defenders. Very safe ball circulation as well. He also had a first team debut back in February 2026 and playing with Marc Bernal and Marc Casado. It was a full La Masia midfield. So talk about Marc Bernal and Tommy Marqués, right? Like they played together before already. And that's very exciting. So I'm very much looking forward towards Hansi Flick's plan and what he's going to be doing. Like, who do you believe will be starting next to Pedri? Like I've said, I think that is Marc Bernal. We could maybe even see Eric Garcia, maybe Andreas Christensen, although I'm very iffy on Christensen. And for Eric Garcia, I think that he's going to primarily play as a right back and compete against Jules Koundé. But we'll see how things do go. Does this mean that Marc Casado is going to have continuity? No. It has been said and it has been reported that no matter what happens to Frenkie, Marc Casado is going to be sold. Even Jorge Mendes is at Barcelona right now to discuss his departure. So let me know what you guys think about all of this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.